All right, there we go. All right, this is the network security course. I don't have the book with me, but you can get, I mean, originally when these classes were taught, for instructors, we'd get all the books for everybody, but now they don't. You can just get them from the publisher yourself. If you don't know how to do that, get with me. I can help you with that. But it just saves us a lot of money. But this book is very similar to the principles book. A lot of the chapters are the same, but we're going to cover it somewhat quickly because we've got quite a few we need to go through. So some of this stuff you should already know. But the beginning is basically about introduction to security, and I can't advance slide. There we go. All right. Basically, security. Has security changed in the last few years? Heck yes. It's massively different, okay? We got, personal security, information security. Every single day there's more security out there. There's no simple solution. I wish there was. But if there was, we'd be out of a job, okay? Is there any jobs in your area, around this area, in this field right now? Do y'all know of any? I know Tinker has tons. Like Tinker Air Force Base is hiring people all the time. Devon and Chesapeake and Dell, they're always hiring our people. I'm just getting done teaching this class this summer, and I have, I think, 3 people who just got their Security Plus certification this summer, which is good. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, okay? Many different types of attacks. We're going to talk about a bunch of them, okay? Why do we have all these issues? Well, mainly because we got a lot of computers now, okay? Password breaking is much easier, which we're actually going to do a project in that, okay? Everybody has smartphones. Does everybody in here have a smartphone? Do you have a smartphone, Karen? You don't? Do you have a phone, though? Is it a regular old dial phone? No. Oh, okay. So, but it is a cell phone now. Okay. But yeah, most people do have smartphones, though. Does anyone have more than one? You don't have more than one, Brad? You should have a couple. Okay. I see a lot of people now with more than one phone. My son has 2 cell phones. Oh, nice of you to join us, Eric. That's okay. Okay. But yeah, my son has 2 cell phones. One that's his and one that he uses for work. So it's just crazy how many people are out there. Okay. So software vulnerabilities, there's lots of those out there. We're going to talk a little bit about those as well. Okay. How about antivirus software? Is there any bogus ones out there? Oh yes. WinFixer 2000 whatever, maximum protection whatever. There's so many copies. So if I was to ask you to get an antivirus program right now today, where would you go? What would y'all choices be? Or recommend? What do you think?
Security Essentials.
Security Essentials. What do you say? Walgreens. Well, you go to Walgreens. Yes, I would go to that place that has those little balloons. No, no. Antivirus. There's so many free ones out there. Yeah, I got a friend of mine, Chad Johnson, works at the 3-letter agency now up in D.C. Years when he was our student, he never had an antivirus. He goes, I don't need one. I don't do anything that I need one for. I don't think that's the place anymore. I took care of some gyms in Oklahoma City, and I still do. When I took over for the gyms and started taking care of them, the guy who did it prior to me, we're talking about the computers that manage the gym, the office computer and all that. The guy who manages all that, was talking to me. I said, okay, so what are your passwords? What's the password for your router? He goes, password? I said, why? That's the default. He goes, well, we found that if we change it, we forget it. How many people say that? Lots do. If we change it, we forget it. See, if you don't change it, you can just go online and get it. No problem. I said, what do you got for antivirus? Oh, we don't have any. I said, what do you mean you don't have any? He goes, well, we don't do anything that requires it. He says, all we do is this one thing. I said, so you're telling me, out of all these employees you have, all these high school students that work, they never go to Facebook, they never go anywhere. Oh yeah, they had viruses, they just didn't know about it because they had nothing telling them about it. I asked them, because the owner, the way I got involved with these gyms, it was kind of weird. I signed up for a membership with these gyms. Oh, I had personal training and everything. I started complaining to the owner because I wasn't getting what I was asking for. Finally, one day he calls me into his office, calls me and says, can I meet you at 7 p.m.? I'm like, okay. I show up and he hands me a check for everything I ever paid him. He's like, here you go, but I'd like to hire you. So I had free personal training, free memberships, and I still do to this day. Not the personal training where I turned that down. But so he brought me out to all his gyms, and he had wireless at all of them. I said, what kind of wireless security do you have? He goes, well, none. So one of them was in Mustang, Oklahoma, an up-and-coming town in Oklahoma. It's getting more and more popular. Well, he was in a little strip mall. You ever seen those strip malls, with a whole bunch of different stuff in it? Well, he was in the strip mall. So he had wireless. So I said, well, what what's on your wireless, because his network was running slow. He goes, while we're out here, the network's running really slow. So let's look at it. So I bring up his wireless router. I said, okay, so where's your Wii? He's like, what? So where's your PlayStation, your Xbox? Where's your like, there's like 8 laptops. I'm like, where's all this equipment? He goes, I don't have any of that stuff. Well, he was right next door to GameStop. GameStop was using all his stuff. I says, look, here's why your internet's slow. So I immediately put security on it, and GameStop was pissed. Now they had to go out and buy internet. But that happens a lot. So many places don't even care about that anymore. Okay? Yeah, they probably did. What'd you do to the internet? Yeah. But there's a lot of antivirus out there. Microsoft Security Essentials is totally free. My recommendation. That I would buy that. You can get AVG, Avast, you can get all those other ones which are free as well. The problem with all those other ones, they keep wanting you to buy it. Hey, how you liking this free version? Wouldn't you like to upgrade to the pro version for $19.95? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like every 35 minutes they ask you that question. Microsoft, you install it, the only thing you ever hear from it is you got a virus or you haven't updated or you haven't scanned. That's all it ever said. Works great. The school here uses it now. Rose State, we just switched to. We switched to Forefront Security. It's awesome. I have access to McAfee. Well, I did because the school had it. Plus the gyms use it. I had access to all this legal copies of McAfee, and I didn't use it. I still use Microsoft Security Essentials because it was free. I'm just going to show you what that is real quick in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. If you go to Microsoft Security, spell it right.
I just go to Google and type MSE.
Yeah. But if you just do it there, it'll come up with the same link. It's called Microsoft Security Essentials. Or you can just do MSE. And there it is. It's free. As long as you have a Windows machine that's legitimate, it's free. Okay. Does anyone know where Microsoft came up with this from? They bought out, I can't think of it, beginning with a G. Giant Anti-Spyware. I used to use Giant Anti-Spyware because it was good for spyware and viruses. I used that for years. I actually paid for it. Then all of a sudden Microsoft bought them out. Then it became free. Then I said, oh, this is going to be nice because it's going to be integrated. Now it is. Think about it. If you're using an antivirus program written by the company that Windows, it's written by the company you're using. Why not use it? So it makes sense. And I enjoy it. It works really good. Not really any big issues. So it's called Security Essentials. So if you don't have one at home, get it. Okay. If you do have one at home, remove it and get this. Because the big issue is people will buy a PC out there, and they'll get a PC with 90 days worth of McAfee. And at the end of 90 days, you want to buy it? Nope. And they don't ever update it. Then you basically have a virus signature from 3 years ago, or however long ago when you bought the machine. But if you do get this and you already have something, don't run 2 of them. They don't work together. It's kind of like having 2 kids that don't like playing together. If you're going to get this and you already have something, what I recommend doing is download this while your other one's still installed. Then remove your old one and then install this one. That's your best bet, okay? But there's a lot of bogus antivirus software out there. If you ever surf on the web and it says, whoa, you got 4,000 viruses, you must click here to clean, that's bogus, okay? There's online banking attacks. We can talk more about all of these. There's hacking contests. There's the Nigerian 419 scam. Nigerian has so much money, there's always something out there about whatever, All right, identity theft, Firesheep. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But you can install Firesheep on Firefox, and what happens is it can just grab all the Facebook passwords. So if you're on the wireless network, which is a shared network, and you install Firesheep, anyone using Facebook, you can get their password instantly. The way it works, Facebook, everybody doesn't know what Facebook is. This works for Facebook, works for Amazon, works for a lot of them actually. Well, you log into Facebook, but the login is secure. The login uses HTTPS, which is secure. But once you're logged in, it goes to HTTP. They do that to make it quicker. So really, only the login process is secured. So once you're logged in, the rest of the time you're on Facebook, it's doing it unsecured. So Firesheep just grabs the passwords. Amazon does the same thing. You can log into Amazon, and once you log in, it's unsecured. Now, when you go to check out or buy something into your cart, then it does go secure again. But it's weird. It's that initial time period there. So Firesheep, bunch of malware out there. There's so much. I still take care of a church, St. Philip Neri Catholic School. Okay? Nice little Catholic school right there by Rose State College. Take care of their computers. And the principal's a couple years ago, she called me one day. She goes, Ken, I got some pop-ups on my screen. Will you come take care of it? I'm like, yeah. She goes, it's no big deal. Just when you get a chance, come take care of it. So, when someone says it's no big deal, what's that mean? Yeah, the next day, maybe. So I went over there like the next afternoon. Well, she's the principal, so all the kids that are in trouble, they sit in her office and everything. Well, somehow in her machine, she had some malware that was popping up pornography. All throughout the day, pornography was popping up on the principal's machine. And I'm like, principal of a Catholic school, and you got pornography popping up on me, that's not when you get a chance. That's like, come right away. She goes, oh, it wasn't a big deal. I just kept closing it. And I'm like,
She was just trying to be polite.
yeah, she was. She was just trying to be polite. But I'm like, no, next time, let me know. I'll come fix it right away. But there's a lot of that stuff out there. Infected flash drives. If I was to take a flash drive out of my bag that had a virus on it, and you didn't know that, I just happened to leave it around in this room, what do you think would happen to it? Somebody would pick it up. And if someone goes, ooh, that's a 16 gig flash drive, put that sucker in their pocket, then they're going to put it in their machine sooner or later, and they're going to get infected. Okay, a lot of issues out there. Okay, we're going to talk about all these and more. Okay, they're just talking about, all the identities being exposed. What was the late one? LinkedIn, 6,000, or was it 6.5 million passwords or something? 6.5 million passwords. Yahoo as well. Yahoo happened this week, didn't it? Where's the last? Yeah, Yahoo just happened. There's always something. There's always something new. So there's a lot of problems out there. Okay? There's difficulties. Universally connected devices. I mean, isn't everything connected to everything else nowadays? Everything, and everything's connected to the internet. Computers are connected everywhere. Okay? Increased speed. Remember when y'all had dial-up? Some of you, like Brian, probably doesn't remember dial-up. But we all had dial-up. Dial-up was very slow. And you really connected, did what you wanted to do. Then what'd you do when you were done? Disconnected. So when you weren't online, were you vulnerable? Not really. And even when you were online, it was so darn slow, no one could do much. But nowadays, what do we all have? Is there anyone here that does not have high-speed internet? We all have high-speed internet? Karen, you got high-speed internet?
I do.
Okay. Eric does? Well, nice. Hey, DSL's high-speed. Okay. But, yeah, we all have high-speed internet now. We have a faculty at Rose State, Arlene Haynes. It's funny because for years and years, Arlene's like, oh, I don't need high-speed internet because we were getting free dial-up from our school. As long as you're a faculty at Rose State, I think you still can, to this day, get free dial-up internet. She's like, oh, I don't need high-speed internet. I'm fine with dial-up. If I need to do anything to school big, I'll just do it at school. Yeah. Finally, she gave up and she's like, I don't know how I've been living without it this whole entire time. She was also one of those that didn't have text messaging. She goes, I don't need text messaging. Then the moment she turned it on, she's like, wow, how did I live without this? Because it's one of those deals until you know what it is. Like Kathy Ogle, she works in our academic affairs office. She had a real cheapy cell phone. And we're always around here with our smartphones, or the real good ones, like the iPhones, not the BlackBerries. But no, we're always around here with our smartphones, and she went out and bought one recently. Because she's like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need it. I was talking the other day. I guess she bought it probably February time period. She says, Kathy, how you like your iPhone? She's like, oh my God, how did I ever live without this? I mean, she forgets her cable. I mean, one day she did forget her cable to charge her phone anywhere. She's like, Ken, my phone's dead. I don't have a cable. Please, do you have a cable? It was, you could feel the panic in her voice. That's what happens nowadays. Everybody uses these devices, okay? Sophistication of attacks. People make these attacks. They're so hard to figure out. You don't know what's going on, okay? Availability and simplicity of tools. We're going to look at some of the tools this week. Well, the next couple of days, I guess. And some are so easy to use. Cane is, oh my God, easy. Yet you can do so much with it, okay? Okay? Faster detection of vulnerabilities. We can detect vulnerabilities, but the problem is a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't scan them. My laptop in the hotel room last night, I'm running a Mac, which we know Mac is impervious to viruses. Yeah, which is false. There are viruses on Macs. But I run Windows under VMware Fusion, so I have a virtual machine running Windows. Not a big deal. I don't run it all the time, But like when I want to grade a bunch of Java, it makes it easier because I can use different tools in it. Okay. So last night I happened to bring up Windows because I had a student. A funny story. Probably gonna listen to this recording. I had a student submitted a Java program to me, and I gave him a 10 out of 100. And the only comments I gave him was "wow." So he emails me. He's like, "Did you mess up? Because I only got a 10." So I brought up his program again last night. I'm like, okay, why did I give him a 10? Well, look, it's supposed to be a complicated program, but it said public void. That's all it said. And there was 2 files. The other file was basically the same way. I'm like, they're not complete. The only reason he got a 10 is because the file was named correctly. I said, you named it correctly. Beyond that, I couldn't give you any points. So I sent it back to him. He's like, oh, somehow, I screwed something up. But the point of this is I was using my Windows VM last night, and it came up and said there was a security issue. It said my antivirus is updated, but it just hasn't scanned lately. Okay? So, because it's not on all the time. It updates, but it missed its weekly scan time. I guess it wasn't doing the day it was on. So is that a vulnerability by me not scanning it last night? It could be. But again, I don't leave it on all that much. But the fact is I could have fixed it real quick, but I didn't. So as a good security professional, was that a good practice? Not really. But again, I don't use it for very much. And it did say the virus is updated. So if something was trying to run, I would have got it. It's just that it didn't do a full system scan. So I wanted to play a game last night, and it was going to slow my machine down, so I didn't want to scan it. But detection of vulnerabilities is a lot quicker now. Okay. Delays in patching. There's something called a zero-day attack. Someone finds out a vulnerability. They tell the entire world about it. Then how many days is it before Microsoft or whoever, Adobe's, the Flash problems lately, how long is it before they come up with a fix? Maybe
weeks, months.
Could be weeks.
At least days.
Yeah, if we're lucky, they did it in days. So maybe, let's see, today is a Thursday. Maybe we find a vulnerability today. We tell Adobe or Microsoft about it. They jump right on the bandwagon and fix it. So when am I going to get the patch? Probably next week. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. That's when they're going to make the patch available. But then when am I going to install the patch is the question. I have people who won't install updates. You need to do that. You need, now it's getting better. With Windows 7, they pretty much do it for you. But prior to Windows 7, do you remember the old machines would pop up and says you got 47 updates? And it wouldn't install it till you wanted to go home at night? And you're like, no, I want to go home. So you hit cancel, I'll do it the next day. Yeah, it's tough. So a lot of people don't do that. Could be distributed attacks. I can't think of the guy's name. The Russian guy who hired the California teenagers to break into the Pentagon and stuff. I can't think of his name. But with social media now, distributed attacks can happen from anywhere. You can buy a botnet from Russia. I think we were actually looking at it the week before last, and said for 1,000 PCs, 1,000 actual zombies ready to attack, it was going to cost you $300 or $100, something like that.
That's pretty cheap.
It's pretty darn cheap. It's crazy. How about user confusion? Is there anyone in here that totally understands everything to do about a computer? No, none of us do. Windows 8. Anyone use Windows 8 yet? October 26th it's being released. That is the official release date. Okay? Office 2013 is coming out. Is there anyone here who's fully proficient at Office 2013 or Windows 8 at this moment? No. So it's going to take a little while for us to get up to speed. But what about the people who don't know anything? Who are lost? Our secretaries. We got one secretary, Mary. She's a wonderful lady. She's an older lady. Sweetest lady. Oh my God, she'd give you the shirt off her back. But she's not a computer person. If the icons move, oh no, she's lost. She's got sticky notes everywhere. But that happens. There's a lot of people who don't understand this stuff. Okay? All right. And there's all kinds of different stuff, the description, pretty much the stuff we just talked about. Okay? So what is information security? It says, before defense is possible, one must understand, first of all, what is information? So what type of information could pertain or is at this school? Anybody know? Student information. Maybe enrollment information. Maybe funding information. So we all get federal grants or federal Pell Grants, stuff like that. What's that based on? It's based on income, but the school gets it based on enrollment So there's a lot of data there. It's worth millions of dollars. Okay, so why is it important? Well, we can't function without it. If all of a sudden Rose State College had 0 graduates, how long would we stay in business? 0 time. So yeah, it's important to know all that stuff.
Talking to a guy from the FBI, and
right.
One of the things he was saying is that there's also Rose State, or this campus has how many PCs?
Right.
And you're just talking about zombie armies. If every computer got infected,
it would be an issue.
You have bandwidth and you have PCs. Somebody wants that.
Right. See, we're going to learn later on that insiders are the #1 threat. Insiders. Okay. And us as students, aren't we insiders? Aren't we all logged into the PCs right now? So that's a big issue. And there's just all kinds of stuff out there. There's all kinds of news articles about it. Who the attackers are? The attackers could be the inside people. Think about this. I work at Walmart, at the shipping dock at night. What do you think? 1 Xbox for Walmart, 1 Xbox for me. Who's going to stop that? Okay? Who's going to stop it? There was a report, I don't talk about it in this class, I talk about it in my computer security class, my security commerce class. A guy who was selling credit reports, he was selling for like $30 or $40 a piece. He worked at a credit reporting agency and he was selling them. He was an insider. Finally, he said for $10,000 you can have all of them. That can happen. That can really happen. So the attackers are insiders, but do they have to be insiders? No, they could be anybody. We hire employees all the time. We have cleaning crews that come in and clean. Okay.
Security guards. Yeah,
security guards. Our cleaning crew at Rose State. A couple of years ago, we were missing all these projectors. We had a massive theft of projectors. Well, it was the guy in charge of the security of the cleaning crew. He was hired under a fake name and everything, so he wasn't very vested very well, but he was the guy stealing them all. Our security guards at Rose State, it hasn't happened lately, but years ago I had a refrigerator in my office with soda and ice cream and burritos and candy and all this stuff in my office. And each night when I would go home, I would restock it. And I never paid for anything. So what I would do is I would buy it and I would sell it for my cost pretty much. But if I took a soda out or a candy bar, I wouldn't pay it. So I figured we'd lose a little bit of money because I was eating some stuff. But man, every week when I go shopping, I'd literally be losing hundreds of dollars. So, if I took all the money I received this week and restocked, you would think I'd have enough money to restock. But I wasn't. I was literally losing hundreds of dollars. I put a camera in there, and I found the very first day I had the camera in there, you see a security guard walk into my office, grab a soda and a candy bar and walk out. Comes back in a little bit later, grabs a burrito and walks out. And, I took pictures of him, and I posted it on my door and said, Rose State Security is a thief. And I forwarded it to the higher-up people, and they asked me politely, would you please remove that picture? Because it's not looking good. But, I had proof of it. You could see him walk right in there and grab it. So they fired the guy immediately. But the funny thing was, after they fired him, they came and talked to me, they're like, yeah, we always wondered why he was always walking around campus with all this food that he never brought lunch. You never thought to say anything to anybody. So, he was an insider, so it could be anybody. So what they ended up doing was they gave me $50. They said, how much money do we owe you? I'm like, dude, I don't know. He's been doing it. So I said, give me $50 and we'll be good with it. So they gave me a $50 check and we moved on. But you don't know. How long was that going on? Probably years. Probably. Okay? Okay. So what is security? It says steps to protect personal or property from harm. Okay? That's a very broad description of it. Okay? It says harm could be intentional. I could do something on purpose, or it might be unintentional, not intentional. Maybe I accidentally, anyone ever accidentally do something? We all did. I've accidentally deleted something, I accidentally clicked on a link. I know better, yet I've clicked on links and got viruses before. That's why I tell people, don't feel bad. It happens to all of us. If you're going to click on anything, you could get a virus. Okay? So information security says gathering digitally formatted information. Pretty much everything's digital now. I signed some contracts to teach next semester for Park University. Do you think I actually went to the school and signed them? No. Do you think I signed them and mailed them? No. I did it all electronically now. All I had to do was I had to type my name. I had to give them a couple other components of my personal information to prove my identity, and that's it. So information, lots of it out there. Here's 3 big things. We cover this in pretty much every one of the classes I teach. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I put this on pretty much every class's test. And people get it wrong all the time. It's like, it's not that difficult. It's not the Central Intelligence Agency. Confidentiality. Only approved individuals may access information. Only who have access should be able to get to it. Okay? Integrity is correct. It hasn't been edited. It hasn't been altered. Email hasn't been edited, which we talked about in the last class. Information is accessible to authorized users. That's kind of an important one. A lot of people don't think about that. Everything we do at Rose State now is done online. You enroll in classes. Everything is done electronically. What happens when the internet goes down? We don't do a darn thing.
Work stops.
Yeah, work stops. So availability is a really, really big issue. Okay. August 9th, 2012. Rose State is upgrading their PeopleSoft system, not their PeopleSoft, their D2L system, our online classroom we use. Okay? So the availability during that time period is going to be 0. Why'd they pick August 9th? Anybody know?
The week before school starts.
Well, it's actually a couple weeks before school starts, but it's a couple weeks after the summer ends. So it's kind of in the, hopefully, downtime. So availability during that time is going to suck. So isn't it better they picked August 9th instead of like September 5th or something, which is during the semester? So availability is a big, big issue. Okay? Authentication, who are you? Individual is who they claim to be. That's tough. That's very tough. Is it really you? At Rose State, a lot of times I'll call security because I don't like carrying my car keys around. I'll leave them in my office. Because when I'm there during the day, I unlock my office. I go in and out or leave my door open, whatever. But sometimes I'll go teach a class and I'll lock my door. Whoop, keys are inside of it. So I always have to call security. Do you think I have to show my ID? I haven't showed my ID in years. Because they know me. Sometimes over weekends I'll have student needs access to our lab. So I'll call security on my phone. Hey, this is Ken Dewey. Can you let so-and-so in the lab? Okay. You guys could call and say you're Ken Dewey. Can you let someone in the lab? The point is authentication's tough. Okay? It's really tough. Do you really want to check everyone's ID every time? Would that be best if they did? Yes. But people, like, I know you. I know Shalon. Have I checked her driver's license lately? No. But really, if we were, back to where Eric works in the nuclear area, I would hope they would every day. We hope they do. Or it'd be nice. Okay. But the problem with authentication is so easy sometimes. Authorization, grant the ability to access. Now that you've been cleared, now I know who you are, you have the ability to do something. Okay? In accounting, I want to know what you did. Okay? Accounting is a big issue. Okay?
Downtown Kansas City, the state building's across from the federal building.
Right.
And my license had expired by a day.
Okay.
Waiting for the DMV to open its state building.
Right.
So I thought, well, I'll just walk across to the cafeteria at the federal building
Right.
to get some breakfast while I'm waiting.
Right.
They wouldn't even let me in the door with an expired. I had a legal, valid, state-issued driver's license
But it was-
that expired by 1 day.
Wow.
And the,
Well, that's good.
The Marines wouldn't let me into the
Wow.
federal building.
Well, that's good.
I
That-
could go over, get my license
Yeah.
renewed, and then come back and they would let me in.
Right.
Not with an expired
Wow.
license.
Well, Luke Air Force Base in Arizona. Okay, my son's out there, so I visited there a few times. Whenever you go on the base at Luke, they basically have a handheld scanner. They scan your ID. First of all, they look to see if it's you. But then they scan the military ID. I asked you, what are you doing that for? It says, everything is electronic now, so we know if the ID has been revoked. Okay? We know if you have a speeding ticket. We know anything about you now. Just by looking at a picture and letting me through, they don't know nothing.
Right.
So I think that's awesome.
They have that at Kirkland, where Sandia is at.
Yeah.
And actually, they can even scan your HSP-12 badge. Anybody in the government has
right.
HSP-12
They can
badge.
scan it.
They can scan it, and it goes and makes sure that it hasn't been
Yeah.
revoked.
Because the problem with the military IDs are, okay, I'm retired. Mine says good forever. Okay? But dependents are good for 4 years. But what happens if that's no longer a dependent of yours and they just got the card? Well, they got it for the next 3 years. Because it's still a valid card, yet it's been revoked. It's one of those deals, We'll talk a little bit more about that later about security, but accounting's a big deal. We keeping track of these people, everything. Okay. All right. Here's how it all relates together. The CIA is kind of the core. Okay. Then we have communications. We have products, people, procedures. We can talk about all of those in this class. There's just a lot of stuff involved. Hardware, software, everything has to work together to get this to work correctly. Okay. Yeah, products is form the physical security around the data. Could be door locks. It's funny, I was actually reading some news this morning about that new jobs plan they got to bring jobs to the U.S. they've been doing the last few years. They were talking about the solar plant and also the wind farm, the one they put out in Arizona. So it's created all these U.S. jobs. But it's funny, they're saying how all the components are made in China. So yeah, we make U.S. jobs to install them, but we're actually creating jobs in China to make them. But my point is products. I was at a conference in Tampa with NSA, FBI, everybody was there. And they gave us, you ever go to a conference, they give you something, a little token of something? Well, at this conference, they gave us all, it was kind of cool. First place I ever did this. It was a tape measure that had a a Post-it notepad and a pen. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it could put on your belt, had a Post-it note, a pen, and a tape measure. And it said NSA on it. And everybody got one. Funny thing was, you turn it over and it says made in China.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, why couldn't China have embedded something in those? Because who was at this conference? FBI, CIA, all the people in charge of grants. Think about it. Embed something in there. We all take them back to our location.
The Olympic Committee's in trouble with the Congress because
The uniforms.
the uniforms are all made in China.
Yeah, the military, the Olympic uniforms for the U.S. were all made in China. It's like, come on. In my other class, in my computer security class, I talk about stuff. United States, what's the baseball league? MLB, Major League Baseball. Baseballs are made in China. U.S. flags are made in China. It's like, okay, what's left in America? Nothing. Yeah, not much. So products, but there's a lot of stuff involved. Has it been checked? Okay. Dr. Schroff, University of Tulsa, gave us a little briefing about a year ago about a problem they're having with ATMs. ATMs are being produced, coming through the manufacturing and the distribution process, and installed in banks. Well, somewhere along that chain, that processing chain, they're being dismantled, and skimmers and card readers are being installed on the inside of the ATMs. We can see them on the outside. We see it all the time where people try to, but somehow during the manufacturing process, people are actually embedding that stuff on the internal workings of the ATM, and they're making it so they work via Bluetooth. So that the bad guy just walks up near the ATM with his Bluetooth device and downloads all the credit card numbers. Now that's happening in the manufacturing process. So where's the leak?
Actually, Richard Lay, who's
Yes.
the head of cybercrime,
Yeah.
he came to
Yeah.
talk to my class
Right.
every time. And he talked about that very thing, and I think that's on the rise, actually.
It's because so much stuff, and we're at the point now where does anyone question when something's made outside the United States? No, because everything is. Everything from McDonald's toys, Happy Meal toys, to everything. That's it.
We have actually a meeting the last week in August in Kansas City of all of NNSA talking about supply chain security, IT supply chain security, and what to do about it. Because the GAO about a few months ago just came out with a report where they assessed how DOE was looking at supply chain, how they were dealing with supply chain security, and pretty much said that we're not.
Wow, yeah, we're not. There is no supply chain security right now, because we're getting a hold. Yeah, we're buying something that meets our specifications,
Right.
but I mean they ship it via containers that are out in the ocean for a couple of weeks. I mean, someone could be out there just paying the whatever some money and.
Right.
But
I mean, and in where I work at, it's even a bigger issue as that instead of manufacturing all the components of the nuclear weapon,
Right.
there's a decision made to either buy the component or manufacture it yourself.
Right.
And so if you can buy the component, it's usually cheaper.
Right.
Right. And so then you have that whole dynamic of, you don't want stuff made in China that could have malicious code to wind up in the weapon.
It's tough.
Was that kind of the thing that happened with the drones? That the Air Force found the virus
Yeah, well, yeah.
was that it was something that
Because just everything we know is made somewhere else now. We really don't know who made it. We don't know who did it. It's, even if you think about your house, your own personal life. I mean, if you tell your kids to do something, does it ever get done the way you ask?
No, probably not.
Probably not. So the only way you really know how it's done is if you do it yourself, but we can't do that nowadays. Everything we need, you need stuff for nuclear weapons. Could you guys literally develop, build everything yourselves? You don't have the manpower. You don't have the money.
Right, it's a money thing.
Right, money's a big issue. Okay, so people, says those who implement and properly use security products to protect data, are they being used? Are these doors being locked? Okay, at our school on the second floor, that's where all our computer labs are. Okay, they all have red dots above the door. That means do not unlock this room. It's unlocked for classes, but what happens is security in the mornings, whenever they come through and open the building up, they unlock all the lecture rooms so students can get in. But the computer labs, they don't open them. It's so many days, and we're switching out security people to night people all the time, and they just come through and unlock every door. So you don't always know about the people. And procedures. What happens if you make procedures today? Okay, so July 19th, 2012, we make a procedure for antivirus. How long is that going to be valid? We don't know. I mean, it could be a new virus tomorrow. It could be a new way of managing viruses tomorrow. It could be... It's better, to have something than to have nothing, but procedures change all the time. Okay. Could have assets. Could be item of value. Could be a computer. Okay. We got computers sitting here at these desks. I see this computer actually has an asset tag on it. Because, it has value, so the school tracks it. Okay. But I'm willing to bet this monitor on this desk has no asset tag. Why? Because they say they're not expensive enough. So basically what they're saying is they don't care about these monitors. My school did the same thing. So they're like, the monitors are not expensive enough to worry about. So someone grabs a monitor and walks out of the school. And we had a 40-inch LCD TV put in our hallway of our building. It lasted less than a month. Someone came in while we were there. It was on a Friday night. We had a 6 o'clock meeting. We went up to our meeting, the TV was there. We came down from our meeting, the TV was gone. And for some reason, the cameras happened to be off that week. Yeah, so I'm thinking insider maybe here.
And we have employees on video taking monitors.
You do? Nice.
And all they have to do is say, well, they were close to being surplused anyway. So.
Now, I do take computers and stuff all the time. Because, I bring, actually 3 of the monitors in my office are my own personal monitors. A lot of stuff in my office, even the furniture in my office, is actually Kendu's personal furniture. I bought it myself. Okay, so they don't ever question me anymore because I'm always bringing in something, taking out something. They don't know if it's mine or theirs. But that's an issue because people take stuff, people don't know stuff. So, all right. So threats, any action or event that could have potential to cause harm, antivirus. How about fire? We were in a hotel last night. The fire alarm was going off for an hour. And halfway through, it was kind of funny because the guy said, okay, you can go back to your room now. But I'm like, but the alarm's still going off. It's too noisy. Yeah, well, we haven't figured out how to turn it off yet, but you can go back to your room. So, but, Shalon was saying that that's the 3rd time this week that it's gone off around you.
Yeah.
I really think she's causing it. I think she's the insider. By the way, he did find the problem was up on the 2nd floor, not in your hallway, the other hallway, way down at the end, the smoke detector was shorting out. They found the problem.
On the wire.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, I was just wondering why the alarm, the big alarm didn't go off when that.
I have no idea. There's some issue with it, obviously.
It's battery. It's a battery. It was chirping.
No.
They hadn't replaced the battery in it.
Oh, in the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that single room, they hadn't replaced the battery in the detector. Because they had battery backups.
Yeah, and the batteries are going dead. Okay. But the point is, so the alarm kept been going off for 3 days. They finally told us ignore it and go to our rooms. So what if there was a fire?
Right, y'all all die.
Now we'd be dying because we're like, oh, it's just a fire alarm again. Don't worry about it. I mean, that could be an issue. So we see someone walking, imagine this, okay? So I started coming to this school every morning for the next year, just walking through the building in the morning. First time you might question it. After a couple weeks, months, oh, that's just Ken. He does it every morning. Maybe if I'm doing that just so you get used to seeing me, then all of a sudden I'm going to start carrying stuff out with me. Oh, that's just Ken. Because you get used to it, okay? So, threat agent, person or element with power to carry out a threat. That could be me. You know, we hire people all the time. Do we actually do background checks on them? Rose State, when I got hired back in 2000, they said that they could do a drug screen test on me. Could. But they didn't. Now they do. When you got hired, they did one. Now the policy says they will do one. But when I got hired, they could. Okay? So, I mean, it was kind of the threat. Yeah.
If you look kind of
Yeah, if you look shady. Now they do it for everybody. Okay. But, you know, I could have got hired, worked there for a couple of years, and then drained them dry. I mean, we got students who work as work studies over in the business administration office. Huh. Guess where the money is? Business administration office. So, now, I'm not saying they're bad students, but how much security background checks did those students go through? Oh, that would be 0. Okay. All right. So there's just some listing on some assets you can look at. Vulnerability, a flaw or weakness. Okay. Let's see. In this classroom here, we have public IP addresses on every machine. Can't think of any flaw or weakness there. All right. But it says a threat agent could bypass it. Maybe, you know, SNMP, we talked about SNMP a little bit in the last class. SNMP is a necessary evil. But version 3 fixes most of the problems. The problem is no one's using version 3. Okay? We all use ARP. Every computer system I know of uses ARP. ARP, we saw in the last class, is very vulnerable. So why are we still using that stuff? There are secure versions of it. FTP, unencrypted, we still use it. Yet we have SFTP available. So it's one of those deals, we have better alternatives, we don't always use them. Okay? Risk is the likelihood that the agent will exploit a vulnerability. We had a classroom, room 219 at Rose State, that basically all the computers faced one wall. Okay? Well, they wanted to change it because there was a pole in it. They wanted to change it so the computers all faced the other wall, so they could change the projector. But I said, that's a bad idea because now all the cables that were wired one way had to be redone. So what they ended up doing was having all the cables running across the floor in those carpet runner things. Every row had those between all the computers. And I says, you can't do that. That is going to be an issue. Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Finally, I said, you know, somebody's going to walk in this room, and to get to the far corner of the room, you actually had to go over 6 carpet runners. I said, somebody's going to fall and break their ass and get hurt, okay? And they finally undid it. They said, you know, you're right. We really need to undo that. I'm like, sometimes you get really, and risks are a big deal. Can we get rid of total risk? No. I mean, we have students. Go ahead.
We have, in my organization, assessing a value to a risk in the cyber community has been something that's been debated continually.
Right.
Like something being less risky or more risky,
right,
and stuff like that. And I've got books on how to assess risk for information systems, and it's just difficult to come up with a standard.
I mean, there's NIST documents all about it. 800 at 30. Is it 30?
37.
30.
37.
Okay. Okay. But there's documents. The problem is it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you know we have students at our school. Is that risky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They could sue us. They could break their legs. They could steal from us. Yet if we get rid of the students, what happens? Yeah, we close. I used the Rose State card. Yeah. No more risk, no more job. But I took a Rose State card on a trip, and I wanted to look and see what kind of insurance, you know, the little insurance card you got to carry with you at all times. Well, there was a letter. It basically says this car is self-insured. Rose State has no insurance, which basically says if there's an issue, Rose State will take care of it. But just find most state agencies do that. Okay. And then I went on another trip with Rose State, and I needed a rental car. They told me, when you buy the rental car, buy every piece of insurance offered. I mean, you know the rental car company loved me. They're like, do you want insurance? Dude, I want all of it. If you got it, I want it. Because Rose State was self-insured. They didn't have any other insurance to roll back on, so they're like, you know what, just take all of it in case there's an issue. So they were covering the risk with insurance. But, you know, there's risks everywhere. Can we totally get rid of risk? No. Well, I mean, if we want to connect to the internet, we're going to have some risk there. If we want to breathe air, we're going to have some risk there. If we want to drink water, we're going to have a risk there. Okay. Some could take too long to implement. You ever have something, you know, we really got to get this going even though we're not totally ready? That's an issue there. Okay. Could be too expensive. Okay. And some degree must be assumed. We talked about that. Okay. Could be, you know, it could be the thief, whatever, stealing rims of the car. I got really upset 2 weeks ago prior to my trip to Dallas. Wanted to get new tires on my Prius. Well, I got an appointment, got it all set up, dropped it off at Firestone. They called me an hour later. Ken, where's the lock for your tires? I don't know. I've never touched the tires. It says probably in the glove box. Nope, couldn't find it anywhere. So I drove back up there in my car. The lock's not in there. So I couldn't get my tires changed. They're like, well, we can cut them off. I'm like, well, I'd rather you not cut them off. So I couldn't find it. I had to leave the next day. So I left. I came back from there, and this last weekend, I basically went to Hudeberg, place I got it from, that has done 100% of all maintenance on that car. Rotate tires and everything. I'm like, dude, where's my tire lock? They're like, it should be with your spare tires. I said, well, it's not there. They said, well, we never, here's exactly what he told me. He goes, we never use your lock unless we need to. He says, we have our own master lock. We never use yours unless we need to. So there's a possibility you use mine. Yeah, but we don't do that unless we need to.
Well, maybe you need to.
That's what I told him. I said, well, maybe you did, but we don't. We don't unless we need to. I'm like, what?
That's like arguing with my wife.
Yeah. But I ended up paying $27 for a new lock for my tires. You know, it's a special deal, so you can take the yeah, it's a key for the lock nuts. But no, they did not give me one because they never use mine unless they need to. Yeah, anybody can walk in and buy one. But I bought one. I mean, the Prius tire, there's 19 different ones. And they had to bring out a set to find the one that was right for my tire. And it was funny, I took it back to Firestone, got my tires changed. Then when I picked up the car from Firestone, first thing I did was search through the whole car. Uh-oh, where's the lock? It's not in here. I says, you guys got it. Well, they had put it in the folder when I go to pay for the car, they were going to give it back to me. So I just hadn't paid yet. That's why I didn't got it. But I mean, it was funny. It was like, what the heck? But, it could be vulnerability. So that's why they put those locks on there. Does anyone have a locking gas cap on their car? Do they even make those anymore?
I have one on my European car.
Okay. Do you ever lock it?
Yeah, it has to.
Oh, you have no choice. I mean, really, no car. I mean, remember years ago that was the big thing?
Yeah.
And it was funny when I bought my Volt, I wasn't using gas. And it says that after 6 months of not using the gas, it's going to start the engine automatically and burn up half your gas. I'm like, that's a waste. I was going to siphon it out. I went to Walmart, bought a little siphon hose. I couldn't siphon it. I couldn't get it to work. They said they put stuff in there now so you can't siphon it.
Right.
I'm like, wow. So maybe that's why we don't need locking caps anymore. But just driving up here, though, I solved that issue. I used plenty of gas, so we're good. Okay. All right. So options to deal with it. We could accept the risk, which a lot of places do. We accept the risk of having students. We could diminish it. We put our antivirus on our machines. Okay. Maybe update, have policies, stuff like that. Okay. Or we could transfer it. We could buy insurance. Everybody have insurance? That's the new Obama healthcare. I'm having major issues with students about that. So I do it just to drive them crazy. It's pretty awesome. How can we prevent it? Okay, it says security. Okay, we have security. We have door locks. Did you know to be PCI compliant, if you have a machine that processes credit cards, it has to be behind 2 separate locks. From the outside world to the device, it has to be behind 2 separate locks. I didn't know that. Until I was working for that Marine guy, we had to have 2 separate locks with different keys. That's kind of a cool idea. Okay. Data theft could be proprietary information. There's a movie out there, Paycheck with Ben Affleck, I think. Really good movie. If you've never seen it, it's called Paycheck. He reverse engineered stuff. It was kind of good. Okay. How about credit card number theft? Happens all the time. I'm going to Spain in not quite 2 weeks now. So what would you all use for money going to Spain? I need about $1,000 in cash. Should I take cash? What should I do? Any recommendations?
Cash.
ATM there in Spain.
Okay, I got cash. I got ATM. Any other options?
I use a
Travel.
credit card. 'Cause it's
Use a
all-
credit card. Use traveler's checks.
You said you needed cash.
Oh, you need cash.
No, I mean, I need to spend money while I'm there. I don't necessarily have to bring it with me. I need to.
Cash is
I
king,
thought
man.
you said you didn't.
Well, I need to, while I'm there, I'll spend about $1,000. I'm assuming. So I need to be able to get to this $1,000. So, well, I've been obviously researching this for weeks, as you can tell. If I use my credit card, I have a foreign transaction fee, normally 3%.
Right.
And I did not realize they did this, but what they do is they don't always process them the same day. They batch them and wait for the rates to be in their favor, then batch them all.
They changed that.
Well, some of them, not all of them.
Yeah, they call them half.
Okay. All right, there's one. So credit cards is going to have that issue.
Well, unless you get, there are credit cards.
I know. There's a Capital One that has no foreign transaction,
Yeah,
but I didn't get that. Okay. Or I could bring an ATM card. What's the problem with an ATM card?
Again, you get
And there's fees.
the fee.
Well, okay, there could be an ATM fee, and if they steal it, they could have access to my whole entire account.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my travel agent, the owner of the travel company, she goes on trips all the time. And she told me what I should get. It's actually an ATM card, but it's through Arvis Bank. It's got a weird number on it. It's like a card or something. I forget. It has a 19-digit number and nothing else written on the card. Because think about it. An ATM card has your name, expiration, number. So this has 19 digits, no other information whatsoever on it. This is accepted at all ATMs free of charge, no transaction fee, and immediate conversion. I'm like, wow. What's it cost? $6. But
Where's
she's,
it from?
it's from Arvis Bank.
What bank?
Arvist.
Is that
I know there's one right over here. There's one over by Walmart on I-70.
My brother, they just works there. They just brought out Union Bank. And I think they
Yeah.
brought out Hillcrest Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But what I like about it is the fact that my name, expiration, nothing's on it. So if you did steal the card, yes, you're going to have to guess the PIN number. But at least you're not going to have something to start with. Oh, it's Ken Dewey. Maybe I can look up Ken Dewey and find out something about him. So that's kind of cool. So I got to go get one. And you walk into the bank, you buy it right there on the spot. Oh, wow. So I got to go do that.
The one thing that we did notice was that we were over 2 years ago,
Okay.
was that a lot of the businesses prefer to be paid with currency because
Right.
the economics was hurting them so much that for them to give up the 1% or
Right, the
2% for you using their Visa, you know,
But, about that, like you're saying that a lot of places like you to use cash. But I was in Cozumel, Mexico in May. They got a new rule over there now. The merchants, taxi drivers, merchants, are not supposed to accept more than $300 in U.S. cash per day.
Because they probably get jacked.
Everything else has to go on credit cards.
Well, because don't they have to pay a fee at their bank to get it converted back?
Yeah, they probably, well, either that or maybe it's the government saying, hey, when you're getting cash, we're not getting our cut of it.
Probably.
Think about it. If I'm buying a street vendor, if I'm buying stuff from you and you're putting it in your pocket, it's probably the government wants their cut. But,
when I
yeah.
traveled to China, I researched all the different options, and
Right.
I had a credit card that I could use that didn't have a foreign exchange fee, and
Right.
then the rest, they said, hey, you need to bring cash,
Yeah.
convert it to, yuan when you get there, and I went $6,000 in cash.
Wow.
I've never carried that much cash.
Well, I was going to get money here. I asked, should I get money here? They said, no, it's not a good exchange rate. They said, definitely don't buy it at the airport. Oh, my God, that's the worst exchange rate.
Oh.
So what she said to do was go to the bank here, get maybe $100. That way you have some money when you get there. You don't want to show up in a foreign country with nothing.
Yeah, no.
And then find an ATM. I mean, okay, makes sense. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get $100 in euros, and then I'll use the rest when we get there.
And
But
then you use the ATM.
Right.
for the rest.
use the
That's
ATM.
assuming the whole thing
With
don't
that.
tank before, the whole Eurozone don't tank before.
Yeah, exactly. But credit card number theft's a big issue.
Just in case it tanks, all the Euros tanking, but.
Yeah, bring what? Bring gold with me?
Or something.
Yeah, bring gold bullion. Why does your luggage weigh 400 pounds? I pay in bullion. Let me tell you. All right. Thwarting identity theft says use another person's information, like they're not supposed to. You get my name. Way back when, it's years ago now, my ex-wife was having a blood transfusion because she has low iron. I knew she was down there having a blood transfusion. She was at the cancer treatment center there They were getting iron transfusions there. And I got a phone call from my Discover card saying, Mr. Dewey, is your wife currently at Sears? And we had a mall called Heritage Park Mall at the time. Someone was at Sears. There was a bunch of other stores in that mall buying stuff. Says, is your wife making all these purchases right now? I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's got a needle in her arm, but let me go check. So I drove down there. Sure enough, she had a needle in her arm. But somebody was right then buying stuff, using her credit card, using her name, signing her name. It's tough.
Was one of the technicians from
the
transfusion place?
what we can track it down, just prior to that, the grocery store called Crest, their computers went down one day. So they did the old manual, credit card slide machine. Right after that's when it happened. And they said there was actually multiple that happened right then. So we think someone at Crest was taking those and because they were getting copies of it. But it's just what would prevent me from calling? A prime example is Josh Posey, a guy who used to work in my office. We were fixing an HP laptop. And we had free support from HP. So Josh called HP. Said, hey, my name is Josh. Blah, blah, got the case all started. I was getting all the support done. Well, the next day he's off. So I'm going to have to finish it. So I call HP. And I'm like, yeah, here's the case number. I need to get it. They says, who is this? I said, this is Ken Dewey. Oh, we can't talk to you. We need to talk to Josh. I said, oh, my name is Josh. Oh, okay, Josh. And they help me. I'm like, what the heck? But you basically can say, who really knows nowadays, okay? We could steal Social Security number, create a new credit card, purchase stuff, leave unpaid. There's all kinds of stuff we could do, all right? Legal consequences. We got the HIPAA law, which is that whole medical thing, which drives me crazy. I mean, it's good to have it there. It just drives me crazy. You got Sarbanes-Oxley. We got the Graham-Leach Act. There's just all kinds of different stuff, and stuff's changing all the time. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later on as well. All right. So we're talking about post-attack cleanup. Okay, look at all the money that you might have to spend. If you got 1,000 employees, it could take $220,000 to clean up after an event. Again, these are just some estimated numbers. It takes a lot of stuff to clean this stuff up. Okay, foiling cyber terrorism says there could be motives, there could be political, it could be all kinds of stuff. Could be your computer systems, could be your data, could be to cause panic, violence. Just could be all kinds of. I mean, why is Anonymous doing what they're doing? It's like a political thing. Yes, we don't like the. What was the deal with WikiLeaks? MasterCard and Visa weren't letting them be accepted, so then everybody attacked MasterCard and Visa. It's all political. It's just crazy. All right. How about banking? Is that a threat or a target? Heck yes. I always ask my students a question. I said, okay, I'm going to build a bank. Okay, so would I be better off going down on the street corner, buying out 7-Eleven, putting a safe in it, and that be my bank, or would I be better off building a bank from scratch?
Build it from scratch.
Build it from scratch, because you really can't add security after the fact. I mean, 7-Eleven is not made to be a bank. But banking could be an issue. Okay, how about military? Could that be a target as well? Oh, yeah, most definitely. Energy, I mean, the whole SCADA system type stuff, that could be an issue. What was the Die Hard last one? Live Free, Die Hard. They take over the world's financial, and then they're, it's a movie, but some of that could actually happen. Transportation, another Die Hard movie. Everyone seen Die Hard 2? Is that where it's at the airport?
Yeah.
I love that one.
That was good.
That was a really good one. But air traffic, yeah, it's a little far-fetched, but you can see how parts of that could happen. How about water systems? What happens if we get rid of the water? We got a problem. We got a big problem, okay? So who are the attackers? They could be hackers. They could be script kiddies. People who just download stuff and do it. A lot of people do that now. Could be foreign spies. Insiders. Oh, my God, we talked about that already, but insiders is a big issue. Cyber criminals, cyber terrorists. There's a lot of people out there. Okay, so hackers, person who uses a computer to hack into stuff. Okay, and the problem is there's so many tools to do it with now, and we train you how to do it, which is the bad thing. Okay, white hat. It says goal to expose the flaws, not to corrupt the data. Movie out there, Robert Redford called Sneakers. Anyone ever remember that movie? Excellent movie. He was hired to break into places. And I think right at the beginning of the movie, he breaks into a bank, steals all this money, gives it all back, and they pay him like $2,000. That's like, darn it. Brett, what was that show, TV show where they break into stuff? Tiger Team. I wasn't able to find any more episodes. But go to YouTube, search for Tiger Team. It's another one. They break into stuff just to prove vulnerabilities. Some of the stuff they do, it's like, yeah, but that's kind of far-fetched. But how do you know the bad guys wouldn't do the far-fetched stuff? Okay? Black Hat, goal could be malicious, disruptive. Okay? Strip Kitties, they just use computers to do stuff. They download the automated software. We got Backtrack out there that has all these tools already installed, free of charge. Kind of scary. Okay? They have menu systems, pretty easy to do. There was a news article about a year ago about, it was in China, where someone actually showed a piece of software, but it was converted for our news. But the software basically said attack, and had a drop-down list of the targets you select. So you select your target and say attack. It had all these U.S. places listed on it. It was actually on the news. I forget. You'll find it somewhere online. Okay? All right.
That's kind of how, what is it, the low orbit?
Ion Cannon thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
You just put in the address you want, or the website you want to hit. It goes and looks up the IP address. It even does that for you. And then you hit fire and it does it.
Yeah, it's just so...
No, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. All the stuff going on. Okay, so 40% of attacks performed by script kiddies. People just download the stuff. Do they know how it works? No. Sometimes they don't even know what they do. Okay. Spies, could be a computer spy, could be hired to break into your stuff, get your stuff, okay. Steal information without drawing attention to them. Sometimes they have computer skills. There's you ever want to watch a funny series? There's a guy works at Penn State, a teacher up there. I can't remember. It's like Gibson, not Gibson Security. Something close to that, though. He looked for Ghost Exodus. Okay, actually, let me see if I can't find that real quick. Ghost Exodus. Where's my mouse? Ghost Exodus. There it is. Right here. McGrew Security. If you go look up Ghost Exodus, we're not going to watch the video now, but on this web link he has a lot of videos. Oh, where is it? I was actually at a conference where he was talking. But he's got all kinds of information. These are all the videos about it. Okay? The guy records himself stealing stuff. He's actually a security guard at this medical company. So he's got his laptop, and he's got a hoodie on, and he's walking around using the webcam on the laptop to record himself. He's like, all right, this is Ghost Exodus. I'm breaking into the building. And they show him getting his regular keys out and opening the doors. I mean, so he was an insider. And they show him getting all the way into this computer system to install basically some malware so they could control it later. They got in and was turning off the air conditioning system and all this stuff. But the way they tracked him down, if you watch the video, they'll show him breaking into a computer that had a pink flamingo on top of the monitor. And that's how they used to identify which machine it was. But he goes in there, he disables the antivirus, installs this program, and then leaves. But he films himself doing this, and he puts it on the internet. It's like, yeah, this is Ghost Exodus. He's got the Mission Impossible music going. It's just, oh, it's crazy. I don't know. Are these the actual videos? Let's see. Come on, where are the videos? Well, he's got videos on here somewhere. They're just amazing. Number two. Come on, one of them's got to have it. Oh, here it is.
Do this right now.
There he is.
So what's up, everybody? It's Ghost Exodus. You're on a mission with me, infiltration. I just happen to be the only person here. And you know what? We're going for a spin. An elevator with a card that only I have right now.
Yeah, you work for the company.
So we're going to go to Alright, what we got to do is we got to drop a bomb. That's all we're going to do. And move to the fifth. Yeah, everybody,
Just show him walking through the building. See, there's a pink thing on top. See it right there in the corner?
Antivirus scan price. Another ETA, motherfucker. And dead.
But then he's leaving. And it shows it's actually connected. But I mean, it's just amazing what this guy does. And he films it all and he puts it on the internet. I mean, his face, was it covered up as all? Oh, he had a hoodie on. Well, that was tough.
Totally see his face.
Yeah, but I mean, it was. But they totally caught this guy. And, you know, it's funny the way. You got to go read what he talks about, the way he caught this guy. But this teacher infiltrates these hacker communities, pretends to be a hacker. And this one guy was posting these pictures of this air conditioning system was taken offline. And if we're talking medical, if you take an air conditioning system offline, that's a big issue. Drugs, people can get. So he was showing this guy, goes, oh yeah, I did this. He was real bigwig. Yeah, I did this. He's like, oh, you did? Cool. How'd you do it? Well, the guy didn't know how he did it. He basically says, oh yeah, I did this. Okay, how'd you do it? Yeah, I did this. It turns out he tracked it back to this McGrew guy that installed that botnet on the machine. They ended up catching him, and he went to jail and everything. But there's a couple different videos on there. Oh, it's just funny. It's like, wow, why would you do that? Okay. All right, so let's continue on. All right, so insiders. We just talked about that. He was a security guard at the company. So is that not an insider or what? Okay. 48% of breaches attributed to insiders. We talked about that a whole bunch. Could be disgruntled people. Could be people who just want to be cool. Okay. Cyber criminals, it says highly motivated, willing to take more risk, better funded. They could be getting money from who knows where. Okay. Financial gain. Okay. You know, it could be low-income people. So if you got someone who works for a company that's broke, yet they have access to all kinds of information, are they a prime target? Heck yeah. Hey, dude, here's an extra 20 grand. Why don't you give me access to whatever? You know, credit reports like that guy got. So, kind of crazy. Okay. Target financial networks, unauthorized information, could be access to personal information. Now, that's one thing we haven't seen. We've seen some issues with it now. But in the near future, the whole, what do they call it, data mining, I mean, there's so much information out there. That's where the money's going to be in the near future. Because everything we do nowadays is tracked. Sooner or later, it's going to be at the point where I can look up, Ken Dewey and find out everything about him. They'll know exactly what I want. I mean, you ever notice that now when you buy something on a website, it kind of follows you? When you go to other websites, it's like, oh, I was buying something the other day. It was funny. I was looking for something. I couldn't find it, whatever it was. I don't remember what it was now. I could not find it. Then I happened to go watch a YouTube video. Then on the YouTube video, you know how they put little ads at the bottom? Was exactly the thing I was looking for. Because what it does, they're tracking what I'm searching for. So then other ads at other sites are using that data to give me specific ads. It worked. I went and bought whatever the heck I was looking for at the time. So, I mean, there's money in it. That's why they do it. Okay? Using spam to commit fraud. There's a lot of that going on out there.
That's like on Minority Report.
Oh, yeah.
Where,
you're going to commit this crime in 10 years?
Well, yeah, but he gets that guy's eyeballs.
Yes.
And the ad reads his eyeballs and says, hey, did you like those jeans you bought last time? I've got some other stuff.
That's true. Yeah. And we're going to see more and more and more of that. I kind of like it because now I'm seeing ads for stuff that I want. But it's kind of like, wow, that's kind of, when I used to run my business, I bought a lot of domain names. I managed a lot of domains and SSL certificates and stuff. So obviously all the ads I saw were for that. But there was a network solutions ad of these great people in their heads. They go, rah, 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 rah. Their mouth was just opening. It looked really freaky. But that's all the ads I saw. It's like, this is driving me crazy. I hate that ad. Yet everywhere I went, that's what I saw because that's what I did. So, it's kind of funny. All right. Cyber terrorists, okay. Ideological motivation. They don't like us. So they're going to take us down or whatever, okay. Deface electronic information. Okay. Power outages, corrupted data. Okay. What would happen if someone got in that didn't like Rose State? Okay. They hate Rose State with a passion. So they get into the Rose State system, change all grades to an A. Will the students be happy? Oh, they'd be thrilled. until our accreditation body says, everybody at Rose State got an A. And there goes your accreditation. But you can see just how manipulating data could cause big issues. It's a corruption of vital data. What about, that talks about vital data, what about medical stuff? Way back in 1980, maybe 81, I went into Wilford Hall Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas, because I was in the military. I was having eye surgery on my left eye, one of my eyes, I forget what, left eye, I think. I was having eye surgery, and, we're talking early 80s now, so there's no computers back then. But I checked into the hospital, I'm all ready, and you have the night before, they come and tell you what's going to happen, what you're going to expect in the morning. So, all right, they come in and talk to me. They're like, all right, well, you're going to be bandaged up. Your whole nose and your face is going to be all bandaged up, and it's going to be black and blue. And it's going to last about 6 weeks. So after I went through the whole spiel, I'm like, why is my nose going to be bandaged up? You're working on my eye. Your eye? We have you down for a nose job. I'm like, no. They were reading the wrong chart. But the point is, what if they had actually done the surgery? My nose is fine, I think. But the dude who was getting the nose job, I hope his eye is okay now. But what if we could get into the computer system now? I was, this is actually about 2 years ago now, maybe 3. I was at the heart hospital in Iowa City, and they were the one where they put the camera up into your heart, arteriogram maybe. So I was having some weird issues with my heart. So they went in through my wrists, put a camera up into my heart to take pictures of it. But that day, they gave me some Valium when I got there, because I'm kind of nervous. They're going to be going into your heart, and I had to be awake for all this, because they got I don't know, but I had to be awake for it. But I'm sitting there on Valium on the table waiting to go in there, and they got a computer system. And it looked so insecure, and I'm like, it was basically a drop-down list of the patient and all their information. And I was like, remember, I'm on Valium. And I says, well, that's so insecure. No, it isn't. You couldn't get in here. So with my left hand, my opposite hand, I was able to get in and pull up another patient's information, show all their personal data. I'm like, it took me 2 seconds to figure that out. It says, you have no security on this data. And they're like, wow. Now, did they fix it? Yeah. They probably haven't fixed it. But the point was, they were in, the computer system was logged in, and it was a drop-down list of patients. Oh, and your name's Ken Dewey? Oh, there's Ken Dewey. Oh, there's all your information. So I was able to just pick another random patient. And you know how they work? They put you in the room. They leave you in there unattended for a long period of time. Man, I could just be copying all that stuff. But they were like, you're able to do that? I'm like, it's not that hard to figure out. So, all right, accesses and defenses. There's all kinds of attacks that could happen at the same time. Do you really think they're only going to go one way? No, they're going to probably do plenty, okay? All right, there's 5 security principles, okay, which actually we're going to talk more about, okay? But steps in attack, they could be looking for information. Maybe they're doing some social engineering. They're looking at our website. There's a lot of tools out there where you can just download all personal information off websites. It's pretty scary. Okay, penetrate any defenses. Okay, they could be, we got jacks here in this room, all along the wall. I'm willing to bet some of those are live. Most places are. I had a student, Grant Cadis, went into Taco Bueno in Midwest City. In the eating area, under the table was a network jack. Plugged his laptop in, was right in their computer system. Gave him an IP address, he could see all the computers. That's scary. Turn this stuff off, okay? Okay, modify security center. You saw quickly on that video, the guy was turning off the antivirus, okay? All right. Circulate other systems that get one infected. Once it's inside, it could affect others. Could paralyze the network. Okay, just all kinds of stuff that could happen to it. And that's pretty much what we just talked about, okay? All right, here's the fundamental principles. Layering. Should we have just one thing? Okay. I'm going to say, I don't know if I'll be able to look at this. I'm just going to check here real quick. I might not be able to see it. Windows Firewall is turned on. Very good. At my school, it's turned off. My whole entire campus, the firewall is turned off. I asked the question, why? You know what I was told? Oh, we have a hardware-based firewall at the edge of the network. that's fine. But didn't we just learn that insiders are the biggest threat? So once you're inside the network, there's no firewall. To this day, they're still turned off. They don't quite understand it. Says, yeah, but it's easier for us to manage them. Oh, okay. Okay. Limit what they can get to. Limit access. What do you have access to? Does everybody get added as domain admin? Hopefully not. Okay. Diversity. Is every machine on campus the same? No. Maybe we have multiple different kinds. We could have servers. We could have maybe Ubuntu running on some. We have Debian on others. So there's more obscurity. Make it so it's harder to see. And then simplicity.
That's Apple, right?
Yeah. Yes. And simplicity. We're gonna, we pretty much talked about these, but multiple different layers. Okay. Reduce the threat against it. Limit what they could get with technology, permissions. Okay. Diversity. Layers must be different. You don't want just one thing. You want multiple things. It says if they penetrate one layer, same techniques, unsuccessful in other layers. You have multiple different things. So by having the same antivirus on everything might not be a good idea. Maybe we should have multiple. Okay. Obscurity. Okay. Not revealing details about the computer. Okay. Like we talked about in the last class, we can't actually hide some of that stuff, even though say you can't. Okay. The brands of software, operating system. I was in an ethical hacking class last week, and we were just doing an exercise where we were looking on websites, looking for job postings. We found some job postings, and on there they say, must be proficient in X, Y, and Z. So now we know exactly what software they're running at the company. Kind of scary. Okay? So if I want to break into, now they're running Oracle, they're running this, they're running this. Okay? Difficult for attack to devise other systems. Okay, simplicity. Says if they're complex, they're hard to understand, but they're hard but also we don't want them to the point where they're so hard to use. They want to be complex to get into, but we don't want them to the point where people can't use them. Sometimes if security is too complex, what happens? People bypass it. People ignore it. Okay. All right, that's the end of this first chapter. Okay, let me figure out how to stop this.